And we are live. This is Old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee is as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Let's do this. Just got out of a text conversation with my friend Kendall Scudder. When it comes to Democrats in the state of Texas, he is the tallest hog at the trough, man. I'm telling you, he is the head of the Texas Democratic Party, and I am fired up. It is time to go to war. I am telling you, I am excited. I have really exciting news about the redistricting here in Texas. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about this. I do. This has happened. This is Dr. Julie Howell. This is Dr. Julie Howell in happier days. Dr. Julie Howell was the head of the education department at Tarleton State University, which is part of the Texas A&M system. She developed a gambling addiction. She did. And like many people that develop gambling addiction, she made mistakes. Bad ones. She took her A&M issued credit card and transferred money off of that credit card to her PayPal to cover gambling debts. And got busted, as she would, obviously. I mean, it's like you're not going to get away with this stuff. I mean, it is. And she ended up pleading out, and she got sentenced to 1 year for theft. She got sentenced to 1 year for theft. It was a nonviolent crime. It was due to an addiction. She's got a year for theft and $250,000 in restitution. She's about 4.5 months, almost 5 months into her 1 year sentence. She's got about 7 months to go. And the Telegraph was reaching out to people that they could try to find that were in FPC Bryan, Federal Prison Camp Bryan, to talk to. And just to remind you, Federal Prison Camp Bryan is a women's facility. It is a prison camp. It is a low security institution. It's a club fed. It is club fed for women. And they found Dr. Julie Howell, and they asked her opinion, and she let the Telegraph know that they're none too happy about Ghislaine Maxwell joining their ranks as an inmate. They don't want, as we've talked about in previous shows, Ghislaine Maxwell is a child predator. She is not eligible to be in a federal prison camp. This was breaking all the rules, and it's a problem. It is a problem. It is a serious problem. It has caused a problem not just for the other inmates. It's not just a problem for the other inmates. It's a problem for the people that live near the prison camp. See, when they moved Ghislaine Maxwell there, and it's a problem for you because of this, when they moved Ghislaine Maxwell there, they had to hire a bunch of guards. They had to institute roving, patrolling, vehicles around the prison now. And it's, the locals don't dig it. The inmates don't dig it. They had to hire a bunch of guards. You're paying to have hired more guards in this prison camp because Ghislaine Maxwell is there. The locals are inconvenienced. The prisoners that were there that were like Dr. Julie Howell, who's a nonviolent offender, who was there because of an addiction, trying to turn her damn life around and serve her time and pay her restitution. Now they got this damn child predator in there. And we all know why. Ghislaine Maxwell sat down with Todd Blanche, Trump's defense attorney / deputy director of deputy attorney general, for an interview. And of course, we've got the transcripts from that interview now. And would you believe it? Sorry about that. Had a little hiccup with the internet there for a second. That's rare. New system's usually pretty stable. But can you believe Ghislaine Maxwell says she's innocent, man? It was all a setup. It's fake news. It's fake news. Donald Trump, I've never seen Donald Trump do anything but pet puppies and just take groceries to starving people, and he dances well, and his farts smell like roses. And I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Well, I'm not kidding. That interview is not far from that. We're going to dig into that right now. But after doing that, claiming she never saw anybody do anything with any kids ever, they moved her to that FPC Bryan, where she's not qualified to be. And she has work release status. She's got an out status. A damn child predator that she has an out status. She can put on work release and just leave. She can leave on a work detail. She can leave. I mean, everybody saw what this was. Everybody saw exactly what this was. But let me tell you, with the transcripts being released, they really thought they were going to build a narrative that was going to make this Epstein stuff go away. But as Republican strategists have been saying, stop talking, take Trump's phone away. Everything they do makes it worse. Yeah, this is making it worse. This is making it worse. Because they can't help but do stupid things like this. Dr. Julie Maxwell, who spoke out to the Telegraph, was immediately transferred from FPC Bryan, Federal Prison Camp Bryan, Minimum Security Prison Camp, to, one second, to FDC Houston. As punishment. Only got like 7 months left on her sentence. But they transferred her from federal prison camp, a female segregated federal prison camp, to a prison camp, to an FDC, a federal detention center, prison that's co-ed, men and women. This place, folks, is in Houston, and it is a shithole. Let me tell you about this. It is a shithole. It is run by the Latin Kings gang. There's violence here. This is the prison where one of the high-ranking members of the Latin Kings tried to contract out the murder of a judge. Tried to pay somebody $2 million to murder a judge, and his wife was locked up here. As retribution for daring to speak out against Ghislaine Maxwell and the fact that having a child predator in a prison camp that she's not qualified to be in is a problem. It's a problem for everybody. MB, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. Silly Bebo. They're going to absolutely find out about the fine art of FAO climbs into my Rafflecopter while wearing my Lawler skates. I appreciate you always being there. I appreciate you always supporting the show. Thank you for being patient with me pausing here. I'd like to read your comments. Jordan, that was the weakest interview ever. It was horrible. It was horrible. I spoke to a criminal investigator about this. I talked to the head of the Texas Democratic Party. And I spoke to a criminal investigator this morning about this interview. And man, I'm telling you, it is bad. It is bad. I mean, it is bad. I'm going to cut in we're going to cover a couple of things that they were talking about. Marsha Klepper, thank you for always being here. Late to the party. Hey, if you're watching this on replay, there's a little button down in the corner of the screen here that says panel. Open that up so you can see what the folks in the chat are talking about. Because this is a community show. This is about our community. And these folks are sharp, and they're usually well ahead of the conversation and having parallel conversations. It's well worth it. Open up that chat panel. Dying Breed Garage. Hey, Paul, here's always. Hey, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But it got her moved down here to FPC Brian. It did. But this interview, I'm telling you, this interview, it is so painfully obvious. Todd Blanche had zero intention of actually discovering anything to do with the actual Johnny Got Rocks Broligarch predators that were partying, the billionaires that were partying with Epstein. Remember, Epstein was rich in his own right. He had more money than Donald Trump. He was rich in his own right. And these guys were partying together, flying on his jet. And Ghislaine Maxwell got convicted in a court of law. There is evidence there. And I want you to keep in mind one thing. When a criminal investigator does an interview like this, they don't do it alone. They don't. There are at least one other agent there. And that other agent will take notes. When something comes up that they catch that they want to drill down on, they won't interrupt the interview because interviewing is an art. It is. It's an art. These guys are trained to interview people. That's why if you're ever interviewed by the FBI or anybody, you shut the fuck up and say, I want my lawyer. I want my lawyer here. And you let your lawyer talk. I'm telling you folks, I don't care if you're dead ass innocent. A federal agent is a trained interviewer. And if the federal agent that is interviewing you has gray hair, especially an experienced agent, shut the fuck up. I'm just telling you, especially if you're innocent, just shut the fuck up. But no, this interview was obvious. This was not done to try to get information, which is a damn crime in and of itself, because I want to tell you something, folks. Something else I want you to keep in mind during this whole thing. None of these predators have been prosecuted. None of them have been held to account. And they did not stop raping children because Jeffrey Epstein died. And it is painfully clear that Todd Blanche had no intention whatsoever of getting to the bottom of any of that in this interview. Any of that. They talked about, one second. Forgive me, I've got so many tabs open. They talked about Virginia Jeffrey in the interview. This is just a perfect example of how bad this is. And to remind you, Virginia Jeffrey was this young woman. And we'll come back to this in just a minute. This is her with Prince Andrew. But you know, Ghislaine Maxwell says she has no recollection whatsoever. But anyway, she says that photo I just showed you is fake. Yeah, she says it's fake. She said that trip was supposed to coincide. It coincided with Jeffrey Epstein wanted to take a look at a house in Morocco. So they flew to Morocco. They have the flight logs. They know exactly where they flew to, and they do know for a fact that Virginia Jeffrey was on board that plane. She was traveling with them. None of that is disputed. It is just fact. It is documented fact. So they fly to Morocco, then they fly to London. And when they flew to London, Virginia Jeffrey says she stayed at Ghislaine Maxwell's house. And on her way to Ghislaine Maxwell's house, Ghislaine Maxwell told her, you know that stuff you're doing for Jeffrey? Yeah, I want you to do that with Prince Andrew. Folks, this is a matter of court record. Jason Crow, thank you for being here and supporting the show, man. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Randy Oliver, Maxwell is a known fucking liar and participated at times with Epstein. Yes. Yeah. And let me tell you, this is a matter of court record. This isn't something that people made up. This really happened. I want you to keep this in mind. Prince Andrew settled Virginia Jeffrey's lawsuit against her. When she first made her allegations, he attacked her. He did. He attacked her. But a couple months in, when everybody looked at the evidence, Prince Andrew's attorneys released this statement. Prince Andrew has never intended to malign Miss Jeffrey's character. He totally did. And he accepts that she has suffered both as an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. I'm sorry I said the shit I said about you. The letter reads, it is known that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked countless young girls over many years. Prince Andrew regrets his association with Andrew and commends the bravery of Miss Jeffrey and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. The royal family, which does not do things lightly. Prince Andrew is the son of Elizabeth, the brother of the current king. They don't do things like this lightly. They don't take things out. There are allegations thrown at the royal family constantly, fucking constantly. They don't act on these allegations. They don't. It has to be. There has to be there. And the royal family and their attorneys took a look at the evidence and they stripped Prince Andrew of his patronages and his military titles. And if you remember, during the time Prince Andrew was moved to one of his mother's estates to be out of public eye, he was removed of his royal duties. They put him on the back shelf, stuffed him in a closet, and said, "Stay there." But Ghislaine Maxwell says, well, this is just a fake photo. This is a fake photo. It's fake. She doesn't even remember it. And the reason she says it's fake is the outfit she's wearing there. She wore that to her mother's birthday party the next day, which is the reason they went to London. She says, yes, we went to Morocco, but we went to London. The whole reason we went to London was so that I could go to my mother's 80th birthday party. And she says, I think this is fake because that's the same outfit I was wearing at my mother's birthday party. I think it's fake. Bullshit. Bullshit. Let me tell you how bullshit this is. Ron Slater, thank you for being here, brother. I'm truly grateful. She says she doesn't even remember Prince Andrew coming by. I don't have any memory of that, Maxwell told Blanche. The issue is, could Andrew have come by the house to see me or Epstein and say hi, and she had been there? Yes, I can't say that didn't happen, but I've got no memory of it. Folks, let me ask you a question. Do you think Prince Andrew, with his security, you have to remember, while this is going on, the royal family has very, very credible death threats against them. They have the equivalent of our Secret Service protecting them at all times. Do you think Prince Andrew just popped in? He was out grabbing some lunch somewhere and said, I hear Ghislaine's in town. I should just pop in. Do you think that happened? Or do you think there was documented evidence that he was at her house? Which is why she qualifies that, after talking to her attorney and preparing for this interview, qualifies that as, it could have happened. It could have. Of course, there's documents that prove it happened. But more importantly, I want to ask you, this is an interactive show here. We are a community here. How many of you would have a fuzzy memory if Prince Andrew came to your house? I just can't remember. How many of you would have a problem remembering the day that the brother of the king and the daughter of Queen Elizabeth showed up at your house? Ren Crenshaw, thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. Really, a lot of things slip my mind these days. I'm getting older. Who knows? Prince Andrew, maybe Prince Andrew. Honey, did Prince Andrew ever come visit us? I can't remember. I can't remember. Bullshit. And that is the exact kind of statement that they drill down on. Remember, there are flight logs, there's security logs, there's all kinds of shit to prove this. New West Bill, liars and cowards. Amen. Amen. Remember, she was rewarded for this. She was moved to a federal prison camp, a club fed, for saying all this. Saying shit like this, protecting the oligarchs, the billionaires. She never saw anybody do anything. What I can absolutely categorically say is that I never at any time set Andrew up to have relations with her or any other human being ever, she said. Oh, you're innocent, huh? Just like everybody else in prison, everybody's innocent. Remember that? Remember that line from Shawshank Redemption? Everybody's innocent. She didn't do it. Virginia Jeffrey says she did. Virginia Jeffrey. And I'd like to remind you, they're saying all this shit now because Virginia Jeffrey has committed suicide. She is no longer with us. After decades of this shit, she had enough. She committed suicide. But Virginia Jeffrey said in an interview, in the car, Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey, and that just made me sick. Virginia Jeffrey said that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew on 3 different occasions. The one from this picture and 2 others. Once at Jeffrey Epstein's house in New York and once in the Virgin Islands. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell says in the interview that Jeffrey Epstein was just after meeting Virginia Jeffrey at Mar-a-Lago, just became completely infatuated with her. I believe the word she used was obsessed, and that she traveled with Epstein everywhere. She also says that the reason it's fake is fake because her house was small. Her bathroom was small. Virginia Jeffrey said that she had sex with Prince Andrew starting in the bathroom, and then it moved into the bedroom. Ghislaine Maxwell says, oh, that's not possible. My bathroom was small. There was just no way to have sex in there. It was just small. And then she was so arrogant about that Ghislaine Maxwell and her brother actually took a picture of themselves wearing masks. He was wearing a mask of Prince Andrew. She was wearing a mask of Virginia Jeffrey, trying to show that there's just no room to have sex in the bathtub. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. At 14, 15, 16 years old, I could have sex on a fucking ceiling. Yeah. Think back to when you were that young. Think back to when you were that young. I could have sex on a fucking ceiling. And that's her defense. Oh, there's just no room. They took a picture of her brother laying in the tub, and Ghislaine Maxwell says, he looked like a sausage in there. He was so tight. Just couldn't happen. Just couldn't happen. Bullshit. Let me read to you now what Todd Blanche's follow-up question to that was. Yeah, no follow-up. No follow-up whatsoever. No follow-up on the other times and he has this information. This is a matter of court record. I mean, it is. He has this information. No follow-up on whether, about the Virgin Islands. No follow-up on why was a 17-year-old flying with you to Morocco and London? What was her purpose there? None of that. Peter Campbell says, DOJ has every specific regulation and rules regarding conflicts of interest. 28 CFR section 52.2. Blanche was the personal lawyer for Trump and appeared several times on the podcast of Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer. Yeah. Yeah. No follow-up questions. Like I said, there's always another agent there. No, jots this stuff down. 2 days they interviewed her. Never circled around to any allegations. Everybody's just innocent. Everybody's just innocent. Everybody that's reading this transcript, they've got every news outlet has FBI agents, former criminal investigators that are reading this interview, and their hair is on fucking fire. They had the opportunity to drill down, to ask questions like, what were the logistics? You say that nothing happened. You had a 17-year-old girl in your charge. What did you do? Where did she sleep? See, that's how they get you, folks. When you're a criminal, that's how they get you. They just start asking follow-up questions about specifics, and your lies fall apart. Amy Manuel, thanks for being here. Did it in a candy apple red Mazda RX-7 in 1980. An RX-7, baby. Tell me you can't get it done in a damn bathtub. I mean, I read that and I was like, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Agent Cajun John, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support, sir. I'm very grateful. Zebediah Strange and a VW bug, for Pete's sake. Oh my God. I don't mean to laugh about something so serious, but yeah, isn't that just the height of stupidity? Monica Meadows, recommend watching the special on Maxwell called Filthy Rich. It is a good call. It is a good call. I got everybody in the audience thinking about all the crazy, wild stuff they did when they were kids and where they did it. Telling lies will destroy the liar's memory. Her saying she has no memory is, in fact, admitting Maxwell is a liar. Yeah, it's really hard to keep track of the lies. It really is. I mean, it is hard to keep track of. But I want to stress to you again, this isn't just political gotcha. This isn't just Trump. Trump is on the Epstein list. It isn't. And it kind of makes me a little ill. Folks, they didn't stop. They didn't stop just because Epstein died. These billionaires are out there still abusing kids because, folks, those people never get over it. They never stop doing that till they go to prison. There's no fixing a pedophile. They're still doing it. And this is what our government is doing. Connie Linden, thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. This is what the Trump regime is focused on. And they're going to try. They're going to try. They are very much going to try to push this bullshit narrative out. Jeremy Breeden, thanks for always being here, friend. Yeah, Greg, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Yeah. Jordan, Maxwell got all the questions in advance. And they clearly rewarded her. They clearly protected her. Now they're going to try to put a narrative out there, and Trump's going to try to make this all go away. But they're morons. They're idiots. Everything they do makes it worse. Everything they do makes it worse. George Allen, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I do. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you that support the show. Can't do it without you. James Valencia, thank you, Texas Paul, for keeping the pedal to the metal on the pedo protector. Bad moon is rising for these ghouls. It is. It is. But I tell you, folks, they're idiots. They are. They are idiots. And everything they do, they're doomed to fail. They are doomed to fail. They can play on the emotions of people when they're not in office and they're not responsible for governing and not responsible for actually doing anything. But the moment they have to do anything, it's so painfully obvious that they're morons. Republicans cannot govern. They're inept at just about everything they do. Peter Campbell, thanks for being here, sir. She not only got the questions, she got the answers too. No shit. But yeah, folks, it's not just that they're evil. It's that they're inept and evil. Thanks for supporting the show, Lonnie. I appreciate you. They're inept and evil. They're terrible at all of this. Which brings us segue to the second story I've got for you today. You know, we've all been paying attention to what's been going on here in Texas. Republicans screwed up. They screwed up. First of all, Democrats didn't take this lying down. They didn't. I was speaking to Kendall Scudder this morning via text, and I asked him if there's anything that he wanted to tell you folks. Is there a quote he'd like me to quote him on? And this is what he said. I'm going to read it for you right now. Sure. Yeah, I've got something to say. This redistricting fight is far from over. But in the event that the courts do not side with the letter of the law, Texas Democrats have an opportunity to do the funniest thing possible. That's to tell the Republicans that they can take their racist maps and shove them up their ass. Word for word, what he said. We'll be fighting in every corner of the state, and the increased investment from these maps just helps make it even more likely that Texas Democrats could land a statewide win in 2026. That's bold talk on a redistricted map, but he's got reason to. Let me explain. Republicans are inept and stupid. They are. And God, they screwed the pooch on these maps. Everybody has taken a look at these maps. This is what they did. Let me give you some background, okay? Republican legislators, I've explained how this works. Republican legislators, it's a retirement for them. They get into office and they don't do shit. They didn't draw these maps. They didn't draw these maps. They don't do that. Republican oligarchs and their special interests write their legislation. They fly them around. They travel. They buy them club memberships so that they can go and have private workout clubs and private supper clubs. Yeah, they do all that shit. But the last thing Republicans do is actually work or actually do anything. And even if they did, they would fail miserably at it. Judith McDonald, Republicans can't do anything except blame others for their ineptitude. Yeah. Stoke bigotry, stoke racism, encourage the worst in people. That's all they do. They don't actually govern. It's the oligarchs that govern when the Republicans are in power. Mr. Knutson, 10 seats are in play. Damn it! Don't ruin my story. All the way in Norway, they know this. All the way in Norway, they know this. Let me tell you what's happened. They hired a law firm to draw their maps. We still don't know how much this cost us. That's right. The Republicans are doing this shit, and they're making you pay the bill because the state is paying them to draw these maps. And we still don't know how much this law firm was paid. We still don't know. But let me introduce you to the law firm. This is Christian Adams, the member of the master race, Christian Adams. He has a law firm called the Public Interest Legal Foundation, or PILF. And they are the ones behind all of the bullshit that Republicans spin about voting, all the voter fraud bullshit. This all comes out of PILF. It does. And this is Christian Adams. And we just paid him a boatload of money out of public coffers to do this redistricting. I mean, they're all over these redistricting fights, all over. This is what they do. They're paid by the oligarchs, and then they suck like vampires off the public coffers to help Republicans draw these bigoted maps. And yeah, they are responsible for the misinformation and the shit that Republicans push. They are. Folks, it'll blow your mind if you think about it for a minute. All of that shit, everything that's going on, all the public, the laws and shit that the Republicans are pushing all over the country, all of that shit comes from this fat fucker right here. It's not some big, army of people that have shit to say that are, no, it's not. It's just these fuckers right here. And Republicans don't work. I mean, all they do is they take what these fuckers tell them and they repeat it. And I'll give you an example. In Virginia, PILF had to settle a lawsuit. Y'all remember them talking about an alien invasion? An alien invasion. Well, PILF in Virginia, y'all know what caging is and how they challenge people's registrations and shit like that. They do. Republicans cheat every election. They do. Republicans cheat every election. Well, PILF took people, you'll get a Republican activist. Hell, shit. My voter registration magically changed one year. I always verify my voter registration. It magically changed one year from where I live. I didn't change it. It changed on its own somehow, magic, to an address I lived at like 10 years ago. 2 previous addresses ago. Not the last place I lived, 2 addresses back. It just changed. And I know why it did, because Republican activists will challenge people's registrations. They'll fuck with people's registrations. They do it all the time. They do it in every election. They cheat every election. They do. We still kick their ass because people show up. But yeah, they cheat every election. Well, PILF took people that were removed from the voter rolls and said they were an alien invasion. They were not citizens. They published their phone numbers and addresses. You know what the problem was? They were all citizens. Everyone on the student, they were citizens. They weren't here illegally. They were just citizens. So they sued. God bless them. They sued and won. PILF settled. But that's where this shit comes from, these people. And they're not the best and the brightest. They aren't. The only thing they know is what makes a bigot happy. And they play to that. And they play to that. But here's where they royally screwed the pooch. Royally screwed the pooch. And again, this isn't an army of people that you've got to defeat. It's just a couple of these fuckers. This is Adam Kincaid. Now, PILF relied on Adam Kincaid to redraw these Texas maps. And this is where shit all went wrong. This is where shit all went wrong. See, Adam Kincaid is the director of the National Republican Redistricting Trust, another law firm that does nothing but fuck with redistricting. That's all they do. That's all they do. They're part of the cheat factory. But they're Republicans, folks, which means they're pretty much well incompetent. Christopher Daly, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. That's why we need to regularly check your voter registration, especially if you're in a red state, district, or county. Do it weekly. See ya. Silly Bebo. Amen. At least do it well before an election. Check it and check it again, like once a month at least before an election, because you never know when they're going to challenge it. And if they can challenge it, you'll have to fill out a provisional ballot, and that provisional ballot will not get counted unless you cure that ballot or the election falls within like under a percentage point. They do this shit on purpose. And to go back to James Tallarico, if you're so popular and if your ideas are so liked, why do you have to do this? Aren't the people just showing up for you? Because they're not. They're not. And this is where it gets so freaking good. This is where it gets so freaking good. I mean, this is just, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. When they drew the maps based on the last election. And we saw this. There was a shift among Latinos to Trump. Latino men specifically. And they drew the maps based on that. Those numbers. Well, Trump's approval among Latino voters is crashing. Yeah, it's exactly what I told you. There were so many people that were wringing their hands and they're like, "Oh, we're screwed," and this, that, and that. I'm like, no, they can't govern. They cannot govern. Teresa, thanks for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. I can't do it without you. They can't govern. And now that they're actually doing shit, and it's not just running your damn mouth about they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats and it's an invasion. People are seeing what's going on, and Trump's approval among Latinos it's in the toilet, folks. It's in the toilet. and people that actually supported Trump among Latino communities, even the Cuban community, because Trump repealed the amnesty protections for Cubans that were fleeing Castro. Even in the Cuban community, his support is gone. George Allen, people keep screaming at Wesley Bell. It has begun, Paul. Yeah. I mean, this is real. Latrines for Trump. You're terrible, man. E.T., get involved with your local Democratic Party and help to go to get out the vote. Central Florida has state legislature special elections on September 2nd. Early voting is now. Yeah, I keep telling you, these local elections are happening all the time. All the time. So, folks, what does that mean? What does that mean that his support among Latinos has plummeted? And why does that make me so happy? Okay. These maps they drew were bigoted and targeted. They went into these communities specifically and broke them up. But they don't have new land to redraw these districts on. To break them up, you have to draw from the districts around these Democratic districts, and you have to pull portions of the population out and put them in these other districts. Well, a lot of these districts that are around these Democratic districts are pretty damn close to begin with. They tend to be Latino. They tend to be Latino district. And the math is the math. The math don't lie. They put 10 Republican districts in play. 10 Republican districts in play. Stop coddling stupid. When your enemy F's up, don't get in his way. I'm telling you, brother, this is a hell of a conundrum for the Texas Democratic Party. It is. I didn't get to ask Kendall about this. I'm going to invite him on the show because I want to specifically ask him about this. They're going to fight like hell in court over this redistricting map because it's just bigoted. It is just straight racism. It's intentionally diluting the votes of Black people and Latino people and trying to split their votes up. But when they did it, they went to try to get 5 districts and they put 10 of their own districts in play. You got to fight the racism. But goddamn, they did us a favor. They drew a map that we can win 10 seats in because they're fucking morons. And to quote my good friend Kendall Scudder, it's time to go to war. Oh my God. I am so freaking when I started seeing these numbers coming back, and it's only going to get worse from here. It's only going to get worse from here. And I got to tell you, my buddy Kendall is happy right now. He is happy right now. He is. I mean, he's mad as fuck that they did this bigoted bullshit. But my buddy Kendall is happy right now. He is. Now, what does this mean? It means we got work to do. It means there's no more of this bullshit that we see on social media about, the Democrats, we're fighting our asses off. That's what the Democrats are doing. We're fighting our asses off. We're working for the next election, and we need all hands on deck. But Chuck Schumer, I don't want to hear it. Turn out. The Republicans every damn day are shitting on the Constitution, shitting on you, fucking our economy, driving up inflation, just corruption in plain frickin' sight. New West bill. As they push Democratic voters into Republican districts, they also think their numbers. Thank goodness they are done. Yeah, they're screwing their own numbers, is what they're doing. Now factor in on top of that what my man Gavin Newsom's doing in California. J.B. Pritzker's going to do in Illinois. Kathy Hochul's going to do in New York. Yeah. But folks, this don't happen. This doesn't happen. We're not the Republican Party. We don't have a handful of broligarchs out there to fund some bullshit law firm called PILF, run by an idiot fat ass. We got to do it. We got to do it all ourselves. Andrew Ordonez, Mark Elias filed a lawsuit yesterday at 8 a.m. against Texas Maps. Amen, brother. Governor Abbott signed it at 2 o'clock in the morning so that Texas representatives could be home behind their doors with the doors locked and not answer a goddamn question about this. But Mark Elias, or as I like to call him, St. Mark, filed a lawsuit at 8 a.m. As soon as the courts opened, he had his lawsuit there. Bam. I knew Westbill thin their numbers. I knew what you meant, brother. I knew exactly what you meant. Thank you, though. Thank you for supporting the show. I am truly grateful. But yeah, folks, it's ours. The wind is at our back. It is ours to lose. Every day they do something. Voters don't vote to say thank you, and they're giving voters plenty to say fuck you about. We're going to have the economy. We're talking about, folks, you better pray we don't have a new pandemic. They have gutted the CDC. And your idiot MAGA neighbors are getting made up bullshit. Robert Kennedy was quoting studies that didn't exist to gut our vaccination programs. Literally quoting studies that didn't exist. They're giving the voters all the reasons in the world to say fuck you, and it's showing. It is showing. Trump has lost support everywhere. Wayne, thank you for being here, really. Thank you. Democrats are on fire. They are. The excitement is there. Hell, man, go read about what Zoran Mamdani did yesterday. He held a scavenger hunt in New York City yesterday with his voters. He held a scavenger hunt. Just staying involved, keeping everybody involved. That's what we need to be doing, folks. Do not allow these people on social media to steal our thunder. Do not block people that talk shit about the Democratic Party. Folks, it's momentum. It is narrative. It is. And there's a lot of really bad people out there that will do anything for a bit of attention, to get some clicks and follows. They will say anything. Mr. Knudsen, go get 8 to 10 seats at least in Texas. Then with our Lord and Savior Gavin, the bull, your favorite future president, savior of puppies and best friend of Jesus, we will take Congress. We will put we will put the federal government in Gavin Newsom's ample hands. As I call him, Governor Big Hands Newsom. Circle the wagons. Daniel Hatch, GOP, guardians of pedophiles are now guardians of Putin. They're becoming the jack of all crimes. You know, folks, this is what I was telling you, man. This is what I was telling you. There's going to be plenty of reason to be fired up. There is. There's going to be plenty of reason to be fired up. We just have to keep the narratives and everything going. The narratives matter. Let me just give you an example. There's a guy on TikTok who he does videos. He runs a landscaping business. There's two guys, actually. One had a construction company, one had a landscaping business. And they have had huge followings because their content is the construction guy goes and he'll see a neighbor with a fallen down fence, or somebody in a poor neighborhood, a single mom somewhere with a fallen down fence or something like that, collapsing deck. And he'll just go in, and he's retired now. And he'll just fix it for free and do the video. Doesn't even charge him for the lumber. Comes out of his pocket. And he has had a massive following on TikTok. Then there's another guy who mows lawns. 1 second. I need a sip. My mouth is dry. He mows lawns. And that guy has a massive following. He will go, he finds elderly people or abandoned houses, and will go in, usually tries to find somebody with an elderly person in it, and that can't keep up with their yard. And he will take these massively overgrown yards, and he will spend all day long for free mowing these people's yards. And he has come up with a huge following. So, like I keep telling you, folks, if it happens to me too, once you get a presence, once you're known, people will steal your shit. They will duplicate your shit. They will pretend to be you. If you see an account out there and it is not linked to my website, www.realtexaspaul.com, it ain't real. It isn't real. It's not real. It's not me. And I'm not on Telegram at all, or Discord. I don't have a Discord either. If anybody's telling you go to Telegram or Discord, it ain't me. Well, this guy's having the same problem. Somebody made a fake account. They were taking his videos, and then they really crossed a line. They made a video where there was an interaction with a cop. And this guy that mows yards and posts these videos had an interaction with a cop. The neighbors called the cop. There was somebody over at a house. They didn't know who it was. So they called the cops just to check it out. And that's all it was. Well, this person with the fake account just creates a whole narrative that they threatened. He's pretending now to be the guy that mows lawns, right? The fake account. He's pretending to be a guy that does this. And he's gotten a huge following stealing other people's videos and pretending to do this. Well, he says that here's the fake narrative, that he showed up at this house and that this poor old woman was going to be fined, and the city has a company that contracts that they fine the people, and that this person that works for the city is somehow corrupt, and that they force these people to pay this person to come mow their yard, and that the cops was there and threatened to arrest him, and that the cops were helping this graft, this con, where this corrupt company is being forced on people by the city, and it's all some big cabal. And they were threatening to arrest him if he just mowed this poor woman's lawn. Randy Oliver, thanks for always being here, man. Amen. 2-1 for Obama. I'm telling you. And it's gone the other direction. Trump is a great turn out the vote machine for Democrats. He is. E.T., I'm hitting up people leaving Walmart with their full carts, asking them how much their cars cost, and it's gone up in the last month. Very effective. Amen, brother. This is the kind of thing. We have to do this. We have to do this. We do. We have to do this. Right? So this guy puts this fake story out there. It never happened. It went super ultra viral. Imagine, I mean, I was pissed when I first saw it. But then I realized he said where it was, and I knew that wasn't the case. Because I lived at one time in my life in the city where he was claiming this was at. And it didn't look like anything like the city, but that doesn't mean anything. But then he said the cop was from that city, and I knew what the uniforms of those cops looked like, and I knew that wasn't the case, and I knew it was fake. And so did a lot of other people that caught it. And then it got to the attention of the guy whose videos he was stealing, and it just became a huge, here, let me show you. Here, 1 second. Be patient. Here you go. I'll just share the searches with you so you can see how many of them. I mean, people just went all over the place calling this out. Understanding fake outrage and content theft. Lawn Guy Kai is lying about cop confrontation. That's the fake account. The original video of the lawn guy. They went and found the original, conversation with the cops. I told you the cops just got called, but as a, hey, check this out. Somebody's here. We don't know if they belong there. So they went and found all the original stuff and called it out. It was all fake. It was all fake to generate outrage. And people were legitimate, good-hearted people were legitimate. And wouldn't you be upset? An old elderly woman that can't mow her own yard. Her husband had passed away and her yard was just being overrun. She was actually warned by the city that she had to take care of it, or that they were going to end up having to fine her. That was real. That part was real. I mean, very hard, it tugs at the heartstrings, right? There's a whole industry on that. There's another one that just happened at Walmart this morning. Is shopping. I announced how high prices are, and while in line, nobody defends Trump. Amen. We have to do this ourselves, people. Dana Long, thank you for supporting the show. There's another one that just happened, and I posted about it, and people are so invested in their emotion that even when I pointed out what was wrong with this viral story, they're very angry at me. They called me a liar. Some of these people called me a liar. They did. This is what I'm talking about. Let me pull it up for you. I should have had this up for you. I didn't think I would. Anyways, 1 second. One second. So a viral video goes around about, and here's the original narrative. And I got to tell you, Mrs. Texas Paul brought this to my attention. She was heartbroken. She was livid. She was extremely upset when she saw this story. I was upset when I saw this story. Lori Yates, it's awful when people try to ruin good people and good deeds. Yeah. This isn't a story where they stole other people's content. Well, they did a little bit. Helen, thank you for being here. Here's the deal. Meijer Foods. I don't have a Meijer grocery store around here. Do any of you folks in chat have a Meijer near you? Anyways, this story goes viral, and they said that Meijer's Food had a kid. They said he was 16 years old and autistic that was working there, and that he was malnourished, hungry, food insecure, and he was eating food out of the bin to be thrown away. And that evil manager that worked at Meijer's videotaped him for months, waiting until the amount of food he ate equaled over $110 so that he could call the police and have charges pressed. That's pretty upsetting, isn't it? And this kid ends up getting arrested. Really upsetting. And it went super viral. Myers was getting calls. And see, this person right here, he has autism too. Yeah. Here's the problem. The story's not accurate. It's not. There is no proof that this kid has autism. Now, there is no doubt from this video that he is not the brightest bulb in the box, but there is nothing to say he has autism. And two, he's not 16. Somebody started asking questions. They're like, wait a minute, you can't work at Myers at 16. You got to be 18. And so they checked on it. And yeah, in the video, he tells the cop he's 19 years old. He's not 16. He's not 16. He's 19. And there's no proof that he's on spectrum. He may be. He may be. But there's nothing out there. There's no proof that he's on the spectrum. And he didn't eat out of the discard bin. That part of the story was just made up. Silly Bebo, I heard about that, and that also pissed me the fuck out. It did. It was very, I was upset. Good people were rightly very upset by this. Are you as upset when you find out that, no, they didn't videotape this kid and wait till he ate enough so that they could call the cops? That's not what happened. All stores have video surveillance. You know that, right? When you shop at Walmart or anywhere, there's cameras up there. Myers does that too. Well, when they caught this kid grazing is what it's called, they went back and looked at the video and they found out it went back for months. But that's not the incidents that they reported him for. The incidents that they reported him for was over a 5-day period. No, they didn't do a month-long sting to set this kid, poor autistic kid, up to make sure that he gets arrested. They tallied it up and just, no, they just went back and watched the surveillance video when they busted this kid because he was eating off the shelves. He worked in the deli. He was eating food out of the deli. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, the deli you go buy food at, this kid's just munching away at the deli. He's eating food off the shelves. He's making himself fountain drinks. He's drinking sodas and paying for none of it. That's the actual story. That's the actual story. Lacey Haverstick, Trump has more pictures with Epstein than I have with my grandparents. Yeah, no kidding. Now, he may be on the spectrum. I don't know. The interview, he didn't seem like I said, the sharpest, the brightest bulb in the box. He didn't seem to be. But there's no proof that he is. And the store did not do some sting on him just so that he could be arrested. They didn't. And no, he wasn't eating out of the damn dumpster. He was eating off the shelves. That'll get you fired anywhere. Anywhere. Eating out of the damn deli, that will get you fired anywhere. But Myers taking a huge hit over this. And people are very, very emotionally good-hearted people. Were rightly upset at that original story. But here's the thing. People shared the made-up part, the made-up story. They shared it because it was very upsetting. They wanted people to know about this. This didn't just happen. This happened like 18 months ago. And people are resharing it now. But whoever put this latest edition together, they went and found another person that is not this kid that clearly you can see he physically, you can see his demeanor and the way you can tell he's very much on the spectrum. And they spliced in images of that person with the kid, which is what got my attention immediately. I'm like, that's not the same person. The kid that got arrested and that person you're showing me who's clearly autistic, clearly has some sort of, I don't know if it's autism or what it is. These are not the same people, which is kind of a red flag for me. But people just took it as that. And they spread it like crazy. Myers took a huge hit. The manager that's taken over that store wasn't even the manager that was involved when this kid got arrested. Myers has taken a huge financial hit over this story. People are boycotting them. But worse, the story uses the name of the current manager. He's getting death threats. He's getting death threats. His family is in danger over this. And the person that shared the video that had the misinformation in it knows that they made it up. They know they made it up. But people are very invested in this, man. They're like, oh, it's just a hungry kid. They shouldn't have called the cops. I agree. That was probably pretty harsh. That was over harsh. I agree there. But almost nobody responded about the manager getting death threats. That kind of upset me. That really upset me. Nobody in the comments cared that the manager was getting death threats. Everybody was very upset. They're like, oh man, grocery prices are so high, $100, that's not much. So I want you to take those examples that I just gave you, and I want you to apply it to MAGA. I want you to apply it to MAGA and the stories they're told. And Broligarch funded, taxpayer funded law firms like PILF out there. They're selling bullshit stories that scratch the right spot, that poke the right button. They use misinformation. And right now, you have a ton of people on social media that are getting clicks by attacking Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrats, and Chuck Schumer. Every time the Democrats do anything, you get a ton of people that come out and shit talk. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how effective it is. The only Democrat getting through right now is Gavin Newsom, and that's because he's mocking Trump, and he's fighting down on that low road. But every time Hakeem Jeffries puts a statement out, it doesn't matter could be the most perfect fucking statement. There are 1,000 comments underneath it. Is that all you're going to do? Just a strongly worded statement. That's it. That's all Democrats are doing. Folks, I'm telling you, Republicans figured out this a long time ago. This fight isn't won in Congress. It's not won in their strategist offices. It's won in the streets. It's won on social media. It's won via momentum. And way too often, we Democrats, because we're a coalition, we've got to keep our armada sailing together. Way too often, you will get selfish people that are in it for themselves and their one little issue. And folks, you have to be my sledgehammer. You have to be my sledgehammer in this. You catch somebody shit talking a Democrat, nail them. If they won't stop, block them. Don't allow anything in this environment to interfere, to take the narrative away from Ghislaine Maxwell is being protected, that they are going to try to overturn her conviction. They're going to try to pardon her. They're protecting none of the broligarchs, the Republican funding broligarchs that are raping kids have stopped raping kids. And this administration is actively working to try to make this story go away. Always keep in mind, you're the people, you're not the stupids, you're the cerebral ones. Look at it like, how do we keep the momentum going? How do we keep the momentum going? Great things, like I talked about it in the last show. Hal Sparks did a great one. Over the next month, you're going to see the Trump thinks he's got a winner here. I'm building a ballroom. Hal Sparks dubbed it the Epstein ballroom. So every news story that comes out on your social media about that fucking ballroom, you call it the Epstein ballroom. Keep it going. Chase Tauscher says Fort Robert E. Lee renamed to honor Buffalo Soldier. That's fantastic, man. But you know what just happened in Midland? Midland School District just voted to rename one of their high schools back to Robert E. Lee. We had a Robert E. Lee high school in the town I was growing up in that got renamed. And these bigots are trying to rename them all back for Robert E. Lee. Keep those narratives going, man. Tiffany Simmons, thank you for making us feel sane, Texas Paul. Hey, it's because we are sane. We are the sane ones. Brian Schultz, thank you for supporting the show, my man. Thank you. But do you feel me? Do you feel what I'm laying down? Do you understand what I'm laying down here? We got this, man. They fucked that map up in Texas. We got a shot at 10 seats. All we have to do is do it. Support our candidates financially. Get involved at the local level. Get involved so you can volunteer, door knock. If you can't do something like that, postcard. If you can't postcard, be here. Be part of the community. You could be a social media warrior. Do it. Get that momentum going as hard as you can. And in the midterms, we won't just take a majority, we will take a super majority and we will shut this shit down. We will restore our country. And I promise you what I am doing behind the scenes. I'm going to DC soon and I'm going to tell every fucking congressman I work with, the next attorney general better be a sadistic, petty prick. We can do this. We do this. We can do this. When we take the White House back, our next attorney general is going to be a vindictive prick if I get my way. I'm telling you, folks, we can do this if we work together. That's why I'm telling you, we're a community. We can do this. The wind is at our back. Everything is flowing that direction. Just remember these points. No one votes to say thank you. Everyone votes to say fuck you. Keep that in mind. Keep the narrative where it needs to be. Republicans screwing up, and they will give you plenty of real 100% legitimate. You don't have to lie about anything. We're not them. I know you won't lie. I know you won't lie. You don't have to. You don't have to. That's why I give you the headlines on everything I post. Go check it. You people fact check the shit out of me. Man, I'm telling you, I got this thing where I call Andrew Cuomo Mario Cuomo every damn show because I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age there. I call him Mario Cuomo. Every time I do it, I get 2 to 3 emails correcting that fact. So I'm not asking you to lie. I'm asking you to be who you are. Just keep the focus on those fucking Republicans. The Epstein ballroom. That's right. That is right. The Epstein ballroom. Keep it going, folks. Keep it going. Well, that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for supporting the show. I really, really, really appreciate it. I would love to do a roundtable. We've got a few minutes left, but I've got a schedule conflict coming up, and I really, really am cutting it close. I've got to pack up and run. But thank you for being here. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for all the support. Someone asked how they can support the show because they don't do the Google thing. If you want to support the show, you can go to realtexaspaul.com. There's 2 or 3 options there, PayPal and a couple others. You folks know, and I appreciate all the help. But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's do this. Let's hit it. Let's get after it. Let's go to war.